All right, welcome to the IELTS Focus. Today, we are going to zero in on one of the most misunderstood parts of the IELTS speaking test, and that's lexical resource. We're going to break down exactly what you need to do to get into that band 8 and above territory.
So, let's just dive right in with a question I bet a lot of you have thought about. Is it really better to use a big, fancy word like erudite instead of a simple one like knowledgeable? You know, it feels like a trick question, and the answer, well, it might actually surprise you. So here's our game plan. We're going to bust the rare word myth, then we'll look at what examiners are actually looking for. After that, we'll get into the 3 power tools for a high score: collocation, idioms, and paraphrasing. And by the end, you'll have a super clear path to that band 8.
First things first, let's bust a huge myth. It's this idea that so many people have, that the secret to a high vocab score is just stuffing your speech with the most difficult, complicated words you can possibly find.
Yeah, this idea that a rare word is always a better word is honestly one of the biggest mistakes you can make. The examiner isn't sitting there with a checklist of fancy words. No way. They're listening for something much, much more subtle. So if it's not about using rare words, then what is it about? Well, let's stop guessing and go straight to the source, the official IELTS band descriptors. This is literally what the examiner has on their desk during your test.
And here it is. This is taken word for word from the band 8 criteria. Now look closely at the language here. What does it say? It says readily and flexibly, and convey precise meaning. Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say uses difficult words. The real focus is on using a wide range of words correctly and naturally to say exactly what you mean.
Okay, so this brings us to our first power tool, which perfectly shows this idea of natural and precise language. It's called collocation. And honestly, this is a total game changer for sounding less like a textbook and way more like a fluent natural speaker.
So what on earth is collocation? It's actually super simple. It's just words that are natural partners, words that sound right together. For example, in English, we make an effort. We don't perform an effort. We drink strong coffee, not potent coffee. These little word pairings are the absolute building blocks of natural speech.
Just take a look at this comparison. I mean, the examples on the left, they're grammatically correct, right? But they just sound a little weird, a little unnatural. The sentences on the right, though, they use strong collocations. Made a huge effort, strong coffee. That's it. That is what examiners are listening for. It sounds effortless and it's precise. So here's the bottom line. Mastering collocation does everything the examiner wants. It shows you have an ear for style, it helps you be super precise, and it's one of the clearest signs of high-level fluency. Trust me, this is so much more impressive than just dropping a rare word in the wrong place. Okay, let's build on that idea of natural language with our second tool, idioms. But there's a really important key word here, and that word is skillfully.
First off, let's be totally clear what we're talking about. Idiomatic language includes things like phrasal verbs, give up or figure out, and also those classic idioms where the meaning is figurative, like the example here, drinking yourself into an early grave. They're a huge part of everyday natural English.
And here we go again, straight from the Band 8 criteria. It doesn't just say uses idioms, it says uses skillfully. That's the key. It means using them in the right place, at the right time, and with the right tone. It's all about appropriateness, not just memorizing a long list.
And this example just perfectly illustrates the difference. Imagine telling the examiner that a test was incredibly difficult, but then you say it was a piece of cake. That just shows you know the phrase, but you don't really get the context. But saying you were burning the midnight oil to talk about studying hard, that's a perfect, skillful fit.
All right, on to our third and final power tool for a top score in lexical resource. And this one is a real secret weapon. It's paraphrasing. This is your key to showing how flexible your vocabulary really is. At its core, paraphrasing is just your ability to say the same thing, but in a different way. But it's so much more than just avoiding repetition. It's a vital communication skill. You know that moment when you can't think of the perfect word? Well, if you can paraphrase, you can just describe your idea using other words you do know. It's a lifesaver. And one last time, let's look at the official rulebook. The Band 8 descriptor is crystal clear, uses paraphrase effectively. This tells you that the examiner is actively listening for your ability to be flexible and creative with your language.
And wow, you can really see the difference here, can't you? The first example is just repetitive, big cities, big cities, big cities. The second one, though, says the same thing but swaps big cities for major urban centers and uses a much richer phrase like the sheer variety of activities. See?
This doesn't just avoid repetition, it actively demonstrates a way wider and more precise vocabulary.
So, we've busted the myth, and we've broken down the 3 key skills you need. Let's put it all together now into a clear, actionable plan that you can use in your own prep.
Okay, here it is, your 3-step strategy. Step 1, forget about memorizing long lists of rare words. Instead, start learning words in chunks, in their natural partnerships. Focus on collocations. Step 2, when it comes to idioms, be picky. Learn their exact context and only use them when they fit perfectly. And step 3, practice paraphrasing all the time. This is the real path to a Band 8 and beyond.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you sit down to study vocabulary, don't just ask yourself, is this a complex word? Instead, I want you to ask, is this a natural word choice? That little shift in mindset, that is the single most important step you can take toward getting the score you deserve.